What if I told you that you can build an AI-powered app that understands any language and even detects the emotion behind every message, using just AWS and a few lines of code? Sounds crazy, but it is not. Today, we are going to show you exactly how to turn this into reality. In this video, we're going to build an intelligent app from scratch using the AWS Comprehend and Boto3 SDK, capable of automatically detecting both the language and the sentiment behind any text. A powerful tool for companies looking to monitor social media, track brand reputation, or optimize customer support by prioritizing emotionally critical cases. And leading the technical walkthrough, we have brought one of our top experts from the Cloud Bootcamp, Herbert Pereira. Get ready, because by the end of this video, you won't just understand the theory, you will have a fully functional app ready to apply in real-world projects. Let's get started.
Hi, I am Herbert Pereira, and in this video we are going to create an intelligent application together with AWS Comprehend and also with Boto3, capable of performing multilingual analysis, automatically detecting languages and sentiments in text using artificial intelligence. And for the use cases of this application, I could cite companies that could monitor social networks in several languages and understand sentiment and evaluate their brand reputation in real time. Or even customer service. It would be possible to automatically analyze the tone of messages and prioritize the most critical cases based on the sentiments that would be analyzed from these texts. But what is Amazon Comprehend? Amazon Comprehend is an NLP, natural language processing service from AWS that leverages machine learning to extract valuable insights from text, such as sentiments, entities, keywords, languages, and topics. It helps transform large volumes of unstructured text into actionable data, which is incredibly important in today's world, where data is often considered more valuable than oil. First, let's take a quick tour of Amazon Comprehend through the AWS console to understand how it works. We'll start with the real-time analysis section, where you can perform immediate text analysis directly from the interface. It provides an example text, and from there, you can explore features like entity extraction, allowing you to identify key elements such as names, locations, organizations, and more from the submitted content. You can also extract key phrases from the text and detect the language with high confidence. For example, here it is nearly 100% certain that the language is English. In addition, Amazon Comprehend can identify personally identifiable information, which refers to any data that can be used to identify, contact, or locate a person within a given text and analyze sentiment, classifying it as neutral, positive, negative, or mixed, depending on the tone of the message. Amazon Comprehend provides confidence scores for sentiment detection, showing how certain the model is about its analysis. This is especially useful when dealing with large volumes of customer feedback, where it can automatically flag negative reviews or comments in a fast, scalable, and intelligent way. And you want to understand the reason for these negative reviews, identify what needs to be improved, and in the context of customer service, treat all messages with a negative tone differently. To run some tests, I'm going to take two texts and perform a real-time text analysis. Let's clean up this part here and paste in a new text to get started. Here we have a text in a Portuguese language. Let's analyze it. Based on the analysis, the language was identified as Portuguese with 99% confidence, and the sentiment was classified as mixed, meaning the text contains both positive and negative expressions. Let's take another example of text. Now, let's delete the previous content. Paste the text you want to analyze, click on Analyze, and that's it. It performs the analysis practically in real time. In terms of sentiment, the text was classified as 99% neutral. As for the language, the system identified with 95% confidence that the predominant language is English. Note that there are some texts in Portuguese, so you have a mixture, but the predominant language here is English, right? To create the application, we need to use the AWS SDK for Python, known as Boto3. And this is the Boto3 documentation specifically for the Comprehend service. And in the Comprehend service, like all API calls, you'll have methods that you can instantiate. After importing the library and instantiating the service client, you can call one of the available methods. In our case, for example, we're going to use the method for detecting sentiment in text So let's use this method that returns a string telling us what the predominant language in the text is, and it will detect this sentiment and tell us if the sentiment was positive, negative, neutral, and so on, according to the score it will be manipulating. Now let's get to the code of our application. To ensure that everyone has the same experience and avoid wasting time on configuration, it's important to use an environment that is already authenticated. That's why we're going to use Cloud Shell, which already comes with AWS authentication and the tools needed to run our application, Python and pip. Let's wait for the terminal to prepare and then check both the version of Python that is already installed in Cloud Shell and the version of pip. Once we have the two tools available, now let's upload our application file and open it with VS Code tool so that we can visualize and explain the code in a more didactic way. All right, so let's open VS Code. While VS Code is loading, let me start explaining the code. It begins by importing Boto3, the AWS SDK used to interact with AWS services, and Pandas, a powerful library for organizing and displaying data. Pandas works with a structure called data frame, which makes it easy to visualize and process tabular data efficiently. The result of our application is displayed in a data frame, a table-like structure with rows and columns that makes it easy to view and interpret the analyzed data. Obviously, we need to install both Boto3 and Pandas for our application to work, right? Here we are initializing the Amazon Comprehend service. By creating this instance with the word comprehend, which could be any other name, we can access the methods provided by AWS, such as those we showed you earlier in the documentation. For example, the method that will detect which is the dominant language of the text. It only needs the text to do this. I'm also going to use a method to detect the sentiment of the text. This method receives the text along with the language code and returns the identified sentiment, as I showed earlier. The result can be one of the following categories: positive, negative, neutral, or mixed, depending on the content of the message. And here we have the main function, where I'm passing a set of texts that will be analyzed one by one. We're using short text just to keep the hands-on more objective, but there's nothing to stop you from using longer blocks of text, such as Twitter's customer feedback, for a more robust analysis. Here we have texts written in different languages, including English, Portuguese, French, Spanish, and Italian, and we'll see how our application handles each one. As mentioned earlier, we use Pandas in our code and import it with the alias PD, which is a common convention in the Python community. The alias we created for Pandas allows us to display the results in tabular form using the data frame method, with columns for the text, language, and the identified sentiment. So the code goes through all the texts using a for loop, and for each one calls the functions we created earlier, one to detect the language and another to analyze the sentiment. Language detection only requires the text, while sentiment analysis also needs the language code. Once the language is identified, it enables accurate sentiment analysis. The results are displayed in a tabular format, like an Excel spreadsheet, with 3 columns for the text, the language, and the last for sentiment, and rows with the result for each text provided. Finally, the application prints the results directly to the screen. Now let us run the application by going back to the terminal and typing Python followed by the name of our script file. However, keep in mind that this will likely result in an error at first, and that is expected because we have not installed the required libraries Boto3 and Pandas. We will take care of that in the next step. So to solve this, we need to install the necessary libraries. And as a good practice, it's common to update the pip package manager first to make sure we're using the latest version and avoid problems installing the libraries and their dependencies. Now, in the next command, we are going to install both Boto3 and Pandas using a single command. I will clear the screen here to make it easier to see. This is the command: pip install Boto3 Pandas. Just as in Linux distributions, for example, appit in Debian or yum in Red Hat, are used to install packages on the system. In Python, we use pip as a package manager to install libraries and their dependencies. Just type pip install followed by the name of the package you want to install. In this case, we are going to install Boto3 and Pandas. So, with a single command, you can install all the libraries and dependencies you need. Let us wait for the installation to finish so that we can rerun our application and analyze the result. Let's wait for the process of the dependencies installation to finish, and I'll return the command and we'll rerun our application, and there's our result. Fantastic. Incredible. So what do we have here? The first text has already been analyzed in English. The second text is in Portuguese and the others are in French, Spanish, and Italian. And here we have the feelings. So when it detects the word, for example, unfortunately, it already deduces that it's a negative feeling. Here, for example, in French it says, "Today is the worst day of my life." Not that it's true, it's just an example, but you can see that it already translates it into a negative form. Here in Spanish it says, "I'm lucky to have many friends like you." So it's a positive phrase. Here it is in Italian. I have no idea what it means. And if you know, leave it here in the comments. See you in the next video.
Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. And then if you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to our channel. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. And then also, please leave us a comment telling us what you think about this video and also the things that you'd like to see in a new video in here on our channel, okay? And then if you're interested in mastering Move to Cloud, DevOps, and AI with our help, please check the links in the description as well. Hope to see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye for now.